Hi everyone, once again welcome back to my channel. I hope you people are doing good. So in today's video we are going to see the second chapter of Class 6 Geography NCERT, which is globe latitudes and longitudes. So the first thing when we talk about globe is it is a representation of earth on small scale. That is, we all know that the shape of earth is geoid, which means it is slightly flattened at the poles and it is bulged in the middle. So in order to understand the shape of earth we use globe. For example, let's take the potato as an example of globe or earth. So the imaginary line that is running from the topmost point to the bottom is known as axis, and the topmost point will be north pole and this bottom point will be south pole. So now let's try to understand the concept of latitude and longitude. So before understanding this concept, why is it important to have latitudes and longitudes? So the reason is we have many places, countries, continents and oceans on the earth. In order to find the location of a place, we use latitudes and longitude as points of reference. So as I already told you that we are considering this potato as an example of earth. So there is an imaginary line running on the earth dividing it into two parts, which is known as equator. So this is equator. If you carefully observe, it is dividing the earth into two parts known as northern hemisphere, which is half part above the equator. So this entire half part is considered as northern hemisphere and the other one is southern hemisphere. This entire half part below the equator is known as southern hemisphere. In addition to this, there are some other imaginary circular lines running from equator to poles known as parallels of latitude. So here if you see, this is equator as we have already seen, and this circular line is known as latitude. So these number of circular lines together are known as parallels of latitudes. So all these circular lines help us to understand, to point out a place or to locate any country, and the distance between these latitudes is same and the distance is measured in degrees. So all these parallels of latitudes to the north of equator are considered as north latitudes. So all these latitudes are called north latitudes and all these latitudes in the south of equator are called south latitudes. So this is about latitude and the parallels of latitudes. So in these latitudes, we have some important latitudes to be known. They are, the first one is Tropic of Cancer, which is 23.5 degrees to the north. So this is Tropic of Cancer, and the second one is Arctic Circle, which is located in 66.5 degrees. And the third one is North Pole, which is located at 90 degrees. And the fourth one will be Tropic of Capricorn, which is located at 23.5 degrees south. And the fifth one is Antarctic Circle, which is located at 66.5 degrees south. And the last one is South Pole, which is located at 90 degrees south. So all these are some important latitudes which should be remembered. And we have learned that latitudes help us to find out a place, and in addition to this, latitudes also tells us about heat zones on the earth. Like sometimes we experience a very hot climate, sometimes we experience cold climate, sometimes we see moderate climates. So all these changes are dependent on the heat zones that are available on the earth. So those heat zones are, the first one is torrid zone. So this torrid zone is located between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So in this torrid zone we have maximum heat. So this is because the midday sun will be exactly over the head. So during this time we experience maximum heat. And the second one is temperate zone. So this temperate zone is located between Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere, and it is also seen in Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere. So during this zone we have the temperature will be very moderate. So we don't have much heat and much cold. It will be very moderate. And the next last zone will be fridge zone. And this zone can be seen between Arctic Circle and North Pole. And it can also be experienced in Antarctic Circle and Southern Pole. And during this zone we experience extreme cold, and this is because the sun ray doesn't reach much, so it is very cold. So so far we have learnt about latitudes. So now talking about longitudes. So longitudes are the lines that are running vertically from north to south on the earth. So if you see here, these lines collectively running from north to south are called meridians of longitudes. So this one line is called as longitude, and all these collection of lines are called as meridians of longitudes. So these are also mentioned in degrees. Now, if you carefully see here, the meridian which is running through 0 degree is known as prime meridian or Greenwich meridian. So this prime meridian divides Earth into two halves, that is Eastern Hemisphere and Western Hemisphere. Uh, and this meridian also helps us to helps the countries to decide whether it is day or noon. Um, so if you carefully observe the diagram here, the places which are east to Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time. So if you want to understand the difference carefully, you have to calculate that Greenwich time. But in the perspective of UPSC, it is not required. So I'm skipping this part. So here you have seen that the meridian which is running through 0 degrees is known as prime meridian. In the same manner, the meridian which is running through 82.5 degrees east longitude is known as standard meridian for India. So this is because in India we have local time for different places. So in order to have a standard meridian, in order to have a standard time for the whole country, 82.5 degrees east longitude is considered as Indian standard time. So based on this Indian standard time, all the activities regarding time in India are carried out, like preparing timetable for railways or trains. All these things takes place based on this Indian standard time, and this Indian standard time is head of Greenwich time. So there is a difference of 5.5 hours. So that's all for today. I have discussed all the important topics in this chapter. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.